Hi, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you this card. Now this is with the Beauty of Friendship stamp set and the designer series paper, which I've got here actually. Beauty of the Earth designer series paper, and it's gorgeous. It's got such lovely papers in here. You can see I've used this one here, and I'm going to use this one today. Ooh. So this is quite a nice simple card, which is really effective, and it just includes some stamping, some inking with a blending brush, and some DSP and some cardstock. So this is a fairly easy card to make with fairly small amount of products and techniques, but I think you'll find it's very effective, especially for this time of year. We're just coming into autumn now. So yeah, so it's a really nice card, and so I've made it layered as well, and then on the inside just got a little bit of detail there as well. Okay, so what you'll need is, so I'm going to use well, this is actually I think it's craze cardstock, and again it's the Beauty of the Earth designer series paper. Right, so we need, so this is half a sheet of A4 card, so this measures 8 1/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch, and it's scored halfway at 4 1/8 inch. So we scored that in half, but it's half a sheet of A4. And then we have a piece of designer series paper, so that is measuring about 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And then we have an insert, which again is pretty much a small size of half an A4 piece of paper. This is just printer paper, and then I just take about 1/8 of an inch off each side just to make it slightly smaller than the card. And then we need 2 pieces of card, again coloured card to match your background, so craze, and that is 2 5/8 of an inch by 4 inches. And then a piece of white cardstock which measures 2 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 of an inch. And then a piece of ribbon, so I've got some white woven ribbon here, and probably about 4 1/2 inches of that. So that's all the card that we need. What we then need is, throw it away. So this is the Beauty of Friendship stamp set we're going to be using. So we're going to be using this stamp, which is a really nice detailed stamp, and we're going to use the tree and the trunk as well. So that's what we're going to use today. There's also sentiments on here as well. There's thank you, hello, some really nice stamp, some nice sentiments as well. So I think I might use the thinking of you actually, which I haven't got out. Which one's thinking of you? That's the one. Will it fit across the top? Yes, it will. Cool, so we'll use that one in a minute as well. So these are the blending brushes. This one isn't a Stampin' Up one, but Stampin' Up ones are brilliant. It's just that I bought these first, so I probably will get some Stampin' Up ones as well. But brilliant for doing this sort of technique. So the first thing we want to do is colour. So, I mean, this is really nice. I mean, this paper is gorgeous. But what we're going to do is we're just going to use the blending brush with a bit of the colour ink on, just to take away the bright whiteness of it. As you can see from these, if I show you, actually that one will probably be the easiest one to show you. I can show you the original colour of the cardstock, or the paper. So that is the original paper, and you can just see it just takes that brightness out, just gives it a nice subtle sort of wash, really, colour wash. So what we're going to do then is get your, so I've got the Cajun Craze card ink, and what I'm going to do is just rub my brush in it, and you can see the colour that comes off. Rub some off because you don't really want it strong, and you just want to sort of go over from the edges, and you can just see that that is just slightly applying some colour And even if you keep going over it, it'll still be adding some colour. You don't want to go too strong on it, so definitely sort of bring it on from the outside. And it doesn't even have to be that even. You can have it sort of whiter in some places, but you can just see that just takes off that brightness. It makes it nice and subtle, so that's really nice colour. Okay, we'll use that again in a minute. But the next thing we'll do is do our trees. Now we've got 2 lots of trees to do. We're going to do some trees on the insert, and we're also going to do some trees on the front. So if I show you again, so we're going to stamp the trees on here and stamp the trees on here, and as you can see there's a subtle hue over that as well, which we'll add in a minute. Now I don't know if anybody's heard of the baby white technique, but you can blob, so all of these stamp pads, they all have ink replacement pots, little bottles, so they all got the ink top ups, and you can use those, and it's in a little bottle that you can do droplets, and you can add that onto a baby wipe, and then they all sort of merge colour, so you get like a bit like a tie-dye effect. I haven't got the dropper bottles, but you can do something quite similar with just the stamps themselves and the ink pads. Right, so first of all I'm going to do the tree trunk, and I'm going to do that in, well, I've got chocolate chip, which is an old one, but early espresso would be a good colour for this. And I'm going to leave enough space at the top to do my sentiment, and I'm just going to do 2 trees, and I'm going to do the first one, the first colour. Actually I'm going to do, because this is, but what you would normally do is do that actually, so you can see you've got 2 different colours there. What I would normally do, this like I said, this is quite an old stamp pad, so it's quite pale, but the idea would be that you would stamp it once, and then without laying it up with ink again, is stamp it again, and you'd get one stronger and one paler, and you'd want that. So let me do that again on here, let's see, and again I'm going to do one up there. That's come out a bit stronger this time, so now I'm going to do that one paler, so you can just see you've got the 2 tones there, which is what we want. So we can put that stamp away now. And now we're going to do our, so I've got 3 colours. So choose 3 colours that pick out the nice colours of your DSP. So these are the colours that will match it. So always apply the lightest colour first. So I'm going to apply Bumblebee to all of the ink, all of the stamp. And then I'm going to add on. Now you can see the pad is slightly closer to that edge, so I'm going to use that corner, and I'm just going to add on some colour here. You don't have to be too worried about it looking quite square, because it's all not look like that when you've done it. And then I'm going to add a bit of purple as well, Merry Merlot. So again, I'm going to add first one first, which is a stronger colour, and then I'm going to add, without stamping it up again, so you get the 2 colours, which is just really quite nice. Okay, I'm just going to clean this one off, because you're going to have to load it up again, and you may not get it exactly the same. And when you've got a dark colour on your stamp, you don't really want to put it on a light colour stamp ink pad. So that's the inside bit. So now we're going to do the front section. So again, load up your light colour first, Bumblebee, and then I'm going to load up the next colour, which is Cinnamon Cider, and again I'm going to just add it to the corners, and then the darker colour I'm going to add last, which is Merry Merlot. I'm just going to add some colour there. Again, so this is the darker one here now, so I'm going to do this one first, and without loading it up again, I'm going to then do it on the second tree. There you go, so you get your 2 different styles there. Okay, so that's it with those ink pads. Put those away. Okay, now using the brush that I used before, I'll let that one dry for a minute, I'll use this one first. Right, I'm not even going to load up any more on it, because you just want such a very subtle colour that there's probably going to be plenty on the brush, just to give it a slight hue, just around there, just to give it like a little halo, I suppose. So you can see that even without loading it up, there's still plenty of ink, just to give it a subtle background. Now we probably will need to load it up a little bit more, so what colour did I use? Craze. Now I will put on here, but I'm going to rub quite a lot off it again. And then just bring it again onto the side. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can look quite rustic. Where the white bits are, it looks a bit like clouds. And actually what I want to do now is I'm going to do the same technique for the sentiment. So let me take that piece again. So I've got my sentiment here, which is thinking of you. So the same principle. Right, thinking of you there. Actually, I'm going to take it off for that one. Doesn't help when if it's not straight. It's very difficult to see if you're stamping it straight if it's not on a straight block. That's not very straight either. So if you can, so often the blocks have lines on it. Right, so again I'm going to ink it all up in the palest colour, Bumblebee, and then one edge I'm going to do the cinnamon cider, and one side I'm going to do merlot, and then I'm just going to stamp that on there. And there you go, you get the same three colours, tying in all of the stamped images and picking out the colours of the paper as well. Right, so we now pretty much have all of our elements. So first thing to do is put our inked paper, and of course all of these DSPs have their two sides as well, so you pick the colour. To do this technique you want something with a predominantly white or a very pale background, predominantly, I'd say white really, for it to pick up the colour properly. So you want something that's got quite a white background, otherwise you're not going to see the colour at all. Okay, so then before we adhere to this to the main card, we'll do these two first. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some ribbon behind, and it's up to you if you want to do it centered or lower or where you want to put it. I did put mine slightly to the left on mine. I might put mine in the center this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the corners just to make a nice detail there. Need a pair of sharper scissors. Oh, I've done that the wrong way around, haven't I? So that can just go behind there, just as a bit of detail. So what I'll do is I'll stick the ribbon down first. So again, you can just use your double-sided tape. I'm going to put it more central this time. And then I'm going to use double-sided foam pads. You can easily get 4 pieces out of one of these large squares. And then we'll put one in the middle. Like that. And then you can just see to go, so I think I'll probably put that one more in the middle on this one for a change. Okay, make sure you've obviously got your image the right way up, and then you can just place it on your card. There you go. And then what we'll do is we'll just put the insert in as well. I don't know if I've ever done this on here before, but I always put a glue tape down the side that's going to go onto here, so the back inside edge of where the fold is, and I just offer it up to the inside of the card. Then I just press down there, and then I just run my finger down the middle, which just makes it open up. There you go. So there we have this really nice ink blended image, and a really nice insert as well. Hope you've enjoyed that. So it's quite a simple and quick card to make. What's that taken? Probably about 10 minutes. Really nice card, especially if you've got lots of designer series paper. It'd be brilliant for Christmas as well. You can add some glitter or wink of Stella or something to add a little bit of bling, or sequins and beads and all sorts. So, but that's a really nice way to get some colour, additional colour into your cards when you've got some really pretty designer series paper that you want to really show off in style, really. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, you can find the products on amandascraftedcards.stampinup.net, and I'm on Facebook as Amanda's Crafted Cards. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time.